Hello, my friends. Today, something a little bit different. I'm going to review a program called DSX Catalog. About 2 years ago, a gentleman called Leonardo contacted me from Marginsoft, an Italian company. They make a range of non-Poser, non-DAZ products, but this is the first thing I've seen from them that's specifically for DAZ. It's a Windows app, and it's designed as a catalog for people who have lots of content. So here's the program. I've got three directories running here, 1231 products, and it's running fine. It does have some issues. It works fairly well on Windows 11, not so much on Windows 10. Or should I say, on Windows 10, it doesn't work so much with external drives, especially if they're large. We'll get onto that in a while, but first of all, we'll just talk about the basic program. I think that this program has the potential to be fantastically useful. As I say, it's a catalog program, and it has some features such as find duplicates, such as adding thumbnails automatically, adding metadata, that sort of thing. When Leonardo first showed it to me, it only worked with the DAZ store, and I said, well, to me, it wouldn't be useful because I have so much stuff from other stores. And he went away, and to his credit, he worked hard on it. And what he came up with was a way of um, adding thumbnails to non-DAZ products. And then rather than just searching by product name or by DAZ ID, you can now search visually. And we'll come back to that, but let's talk about the basic program. So there are three ways that you can basically add products. You can add your DSX folder, that's the basic download folder that DAZ downloads to. And when you do that, it will connect the program, the content that you've downloaded. If there's images there, it will do images, or you can automatically add images as metadata. But this is far more likely how you're likely to work. If you sort your stuff from that folder to other folders, you're more likely to do add image folder. And when you add an image folder, you can add any folder that's got your DAZ content, archive, for example. I have one main folder on my F drive, and then a hard drive of archive stuff with probably 10,000 DAZ programs over the years. What I have here, though, is I have one external drive, one small drive, and a separate drive, separate internal hard drive, and then the main drive. And what I did was I added a folder, then I added extra folders here, another folder, and you can see there I've got three folders now. And another nice thing that you can do is you can set it up so that it has folder exclusions and file exclusions, so that it skips stuff that you don't want. And somewhere there's an exclusions folder as well. I can't remember where. Oh, here we go. You can exclude entire folders. So when you make it run, it will find all the content, and depending on the size of your content, that can take quite a while, up to probably half an hour. And that's for an absolutely huge folder. For an average person under 1,000, that's probably going to be about 10-15 minutes, under 1,000 piece of content. And you have a choice here. Your visual search device can be CPU or GPU. Now it has automatic, but I installed it on a laptop and it automatically defaulted to CPU. And the CPU is so slow, excruciating. I left it running half a day and it still hadn't catalogued 1,000 files. So you never do that if you can help it. Trouble is, if you're running it on a laptop, your GPU might not be all that. But even my my Microsoft Iris GPU was like 100 times faster than the CPU on that laptop. So always make sure you switch it to GPU before you run that. Now it says there for visual search, and that really is the heart of the program. That's this thing here. But before we talk about that, because that's going to be the main content, the main part of this review, I just want to talk about this. So it basically enables you to organize large folders. So you can search your library by product name, you can sort it by name, by product ID, by manifest date, blah, blah, blah. But the most useful ones are going to be by name or by thumbnail or without thumbnail. If you've got very old content, as I do, back in the day, I didn't used to archive stuff with thumbnails, and now you can't find those thumbnails. Here's a couple of items without thumbnails. You kind of, you're a bit in trouble there, but you can add your own thumbnails in the program. We'll talk about that again in a minute. I'm sending you a lot into the future here. Anyway, so you can categorize stuff. So if you're managing your library, if you did it by without thumbnail, for example, you'd see all the things that don't have thumbnail, and then you'd have to go away and either create thumbnails or download them from the internet. And as I say, a lot of the really old stuff has been deleted from the DAZ store or whatever, so you might just want to render and put a title on it to turn that into a thumbnail. So let's go back. So you could say only things with that thumbnail or by name or whatever. So we'll just return that to there. So that's really just a way of looking through your stuff. And then there's by category. Now, this would be much more useful if you could choose a category. It appears here to be all the hair products are together. You might be wondering, by the way, why there's duplicate products. That's because I duplicated some of my folders just to demonstrate some stuff later on. But here it's duplicated hair, it's duplicated environments, and so on. That would be fantastically more useful if you could actually specify the category rather than just having to see all the categories in whatever order it chooses to give them to you. Now I'm scrolling down, and as you see, even on a very powerful PC, it's not super fast on the scroll. It's not unbearably slow, but it's slow enough. On an older machine, I mean, this machine has a fantastic graphics card, pretty good 24-core processor, and it's still, I don't know, I'm assuming this is the CPU that controls this update rather than the GPU, and I'm running on Windows 10. Anyway, so we've got various ways we can sort, and again by artist, but again it would be more useful if you could type the artist. Now, another useful thing that you can do is if you open this details pane here, opens up on the side here, then when you click on something, you get to see a bit more of the details of the product, and you can click docs to see the documents, if there are any, for what's on DAZ documents page. This is kind of just the main page, and then this is the documents page. Not every product, in fact probably most don't, have a DAZ documents, but it does at least search the metadata to find it. Okay, so missing metadata, that's an important thing. If there's missing metadata, you can manually go in and you can that's you can export a list of all the files that don't have metadata as missing thumbnails, for example. But you can manually add metadata. Let's just do sort by missing without thumbnails. And then if I right click on here, and I can do add metadata here. Now, this is a great idea, but it's fatally flawed. If you don't add a product SKU, which is like the DAZ identifier. Remember, though, that it's designed now so that it doesn't only work with DAZ. So you could add another store there. I'm not quite sure how you'd add another store. Okay, there you go. You can get rid of the DAZ and then add anything you like. Then you can add your metadata in here, and you can add a thumbnail. You can also search by URL, in which case it'll auto-populate this. The big problem is that if it automatically it will automatically add metadata here for the programs it can find on the DAZ store, but the trouble is older stuff no longer is sold on the DAZ store, so there'll be some stuff you can't find. Sometimes you can find images on other sites, but a lot of the time you're just done for there. Okay, so as I said, you can add your own metadata here, and you can add your own thumbnail here. I think you can't add a thumbnail unless you give it a product SKU, which is really annoying. Anyway, it should be a separate way to add a thumbnail, and there is, but it's not how you think. If you go to your folder of your content, you can see here I've got 6 thumbnails actually for something else, but I can add the thumbnails. Open up and find out where they are, and they are Poser F randoms, right? Okay, so they're actually in my main Poser. So Poser on F drive, randoms. So here, I've got some old stuff from different stores. I've got Circuit Fusion. I've got some old some Renderosity stuff here, and I can add thumbnails just by adding a thumbnail to the folder in the name of something. In theory, that thumbnail adds. Now you'll see here, I've got a program called DAZ 3D Briannon, and there's this is actually Sun Tzu picture that I downloaded and sized, and that comes into the program and adds to this Briannon. But this one for DAZ Zygot Victoria, even though I've used the same technique, you'll see here when I go into here that Victoria, I think, doesn't have an image. Let's just have a quick look. DAZ, what was it? DAZ Zygot Victoria. DAZ. In fact, it's not even showing. Oh, there we go. DAZ Zygot Victoria. So Zygot was the name for DAZ 3D beforehand. It was the parent company. And there's no image there. But if I do that, what was it called? Briannon? DAZ 3D Briannon. So if I go in, oh, where's it gone? There we go. DAZ 3D Briannon. You'll see it's added. So there's something weird about the way it does thumbnails. I seem to remember that Leonardo told me he's going to fix that. Speaking of fixes, Leonardo is incredibly responsive to bugs, which is just as well. Let me just show you my inbox just over the last, whatever this is. You can see Leonardo and me have had a lot of exchanges over the last, what's this, 29th? That's the, yeah, 2 weeks. We've had a lot of exchanges, and we've probably got twice this many more earlier. He's very responsive to bugs. It seems to me he's admitted that he informed me that it's just one guy working on the program, and that's fair enough. You know, some great utilities written by just single lone workers. But the trouble is, it feels a bit like whack-a-mole with the bugs. He'll fix one, and then there'll be another one. Fix one, and then there'll be another one. And there are lots of really weird, quirky ones to do with how it downloads, how it displays thumbnails. The basic core of the program is really solid. So if the basic core that I'm showing you now is enough for you, then it's absolutely fine. But there are lots and lots of tiny little things that you might need in a special use case, which occur time after time after time, which are just bugs that he's missed. It's kind of a bit annoying, really. Leonardo asked me to review the program a couple of years ago, and had I reviewed it then, it would have been unusable. Now it's very, very usable, and I actually asked myself before I started making this review if I had to pay for it. Full disclosure, he gave it to me for free to look at, but if I had to pay for it, would I pay for it? And I think I probably would. The feature that I find the most useful is the ability to find duplicates, and I'll tell you why that's useful, because DAZ has a annoying habit of releasing updates for programs which are just sequential numbers. So you might have image whatever 200 plus, and then there'll be a sequence of numbers, and you're just supposed to know by that sequence of numbers which of those files, or otherwise similarly named, you're supposed to keep. And this at least lets you find all the different files that you might have stored in different places. Like your storage system, for example, might be women, white women, DAZ 3, DAZ 8, DAZ 9, and you might have the same figure that you stored in multiple places for various reasons, which I do sometimes. And this lets you find all the duplicates in case you ever want to rationalize your library back down to a more lean kind of library, so you've got not hundreds of gigs of space taken up with dupes. Not hundreds of gigs, but gigs anyway. Right, so now to the most important thing, the visual search button. And this relates to this option here, find duplicates. So first of all, if I do find duplicates, what it does is remember I showed you this thing here where you get to choose the search device. It also utilizes that. This is the only time that it needs to be online. Well, it has to be online if you want to download metadata, but once you've got your database up to date, you can take it offline. It doesn't need to be online again. But when you do this, it needs to be online. And the reason is because it accesses an AI engine. And I know what you're thinking, AI, oh my goodness, it's killing the planet and all that kind of stuff. But there are valuable use cases for AI, and this is actually one of them. So what it will do is it will build an AI, I don't know how to describe it, like an AI, not a template, a fingerprint of every single image. And it's very, very clever. It's also extremely slow. On my laptop, it was still going a day later. And I actually gave up, and that was like 10%. It was ridiculously slow, and that was on the Iris graphics card, let alone on the CPU, which was excruciatingly slow. On this 5090, probably takes half an hour to an hour to do 10,000 files. But it only has to do it once. Once it's built a fingerprint of every single image, here's where the real magic happens. And I flipping love this feature. This is so good. So here we've got all the duplicates, and you can right click and you can see where they're stored, and you can decide whether or not you want to get rid of those duplicates. I deliberately added duplicates to this just so that it would work for you. There are some things that don't work on the dupes. I'll come back to that, but for now I want to show you this feature. This is really, really clever. So we do visual search. Okay, please don't do it all over again. Oh, there we go, thank goodness. Okay, so this bit often takes a long time. So now what we can do is we can load any image. When the first time you run this, it gives you a really angsty, heavy-handed warning about DAZ not wanting their products to be used for invading people's privacy. Blah, blah, blah. It's a load of bollocks. What it's basically saying is don't use it to make real people, but if that's the case, don't sell models to real people. Anyway, let me show you. Let me show you an example. So let's keep it easy to start with. We've got a black fella. Okay, so we want it to search. So whole image, clothing, blah blah blah, face. So let's just do face for now. Turn off whole image, and we'll do search, and that's already done. And let's see if it's found any black people. Okay, so it's done that black guy, and then these are done by proximity. It's done this black guy. It's done a lot of people actually. You can actually do it as well. The searches have different levels of success. So if I do whole image, face and hair, oh no, we'll just do face and hair. And search again, see if that refines it at all. Yep, so now it's just heads, black, hair, similar, yeah. Okay, so let's do some more searches just to show you, because this engine is really flipping amazing. Okay, this time we'll do a deck chair. Now, I must say, I have not set this database up to be kind to this program. This was just a database of 900 programs, pieces of content that I randomly had, and this is how it did it. So we've got a beach chair here. So I didn't choose these images that would work really well. So I do a search and two beddy things, and then some other stuff vaguely a similar shape. But I mean, this is close enough, isn't it? I mean, obviously, if I don't have a beach chair, I don't have a beach chair, but I have something that looks like a beach chair, that kind of shape. Okay, let's do some more searches just to show you how powerful this is. This is really, really super impressive. I really love this. Right, let's do a mask. kind of a playful furry mask, I suppose. So it's whole image. I could have refined it to clothing, I guess. And there you go. It's recognised it's a mask. It's recognised it's got ears. It's got some various other stuff. Okay. Show you a couple more just because this is just mind-blowingly good. Okay. Lady with flowers. This was a genuine search I did because I wanted to do something like this for an old medieval thing I was doing. So, and look, 2 ladies with flowers in her hair. How good is that? Oh, 3 ladies with flowers in her hair and a lady with flowers on her hair. I would surmise that this is my entire lifetime collection of ladies with flowers in their hair, and it's found them all, and even someone with flowery, zappy hair. Okay, let's do something else. I'm just going to take you through all of the different things I've got. Okay, so this is an interesting one, a gorilla. Now, I did have a chimpanzee. I did have a chimpanzee on this drive when I first tested this, and it's not on there now, but rest assured it did actually find it. But what it's found is chimpanzee-like things. So we've got a sloth, we've got a brown bear, we've got a megatherium, which is like a prehistoric bear thing. There's a troll there. So, you can see how the proximity, it's a shame actually, I don't have that gorilla on them anymore. But you can see how these proximity matches, here it's found something furry. I won't point to some of the others, but you can get the idea, yeah. It's done it by colour here. Obviously, it's a very, very broad match, and perhaps what you might like to do is to offer, and this is for Leonardo, is a proximity similarity. So you can turn this down in the search here. So once I've got this search, then I can turn the similarity of the proximity down to refine a lot of this crap out. And then I think there was one more search I had tuned up for you, and it was we've got another one here. It's a Korean looking guy. So you're searching by his hair, so we do search by hair, go away, search. You could search by his face away, and there you go. So we've got all of these hair models, and which are close. This one's close, this one's close. Have another look at what I was searching by. So we've got this kind of, I don't know what you'd call this, like a bouffon puffy kind of hair. Just remember that, and look how many hairs. There you go. This one, Samuel hair, Samuel with hair. I think these are actually thumbnails for characters. This is the one that's actually got hair. It would definitely find something closer if I could make it use my external drive, but unfortunately that needs fixing. On Windows 11, it accesses my external USB hard drive flawlessly, but it doesn't do it on Windows 10, and really annoying me because I actually have this I don't know if I can show you this, but it's an SSD drive plugged into the USB, and it's working just fine with that. And there's no errors on the drive. I've double checked it. It's just something about USB HDDs it doesn't like. It's a Western Digital drive. Anyway, but let's do one more search. I want to show you this because this blows my flipping mind. Right, so we'll do a search. Right, what have I got here? I've got a blade that has that kind of, I can't remember what they call it now, but it's a special type of blade, steel folding technique that they use in Spain in the past, I think. In fact, I want to see what that file's called. Oh no, I can't tell. And we'll do a search on that. So I'm hoping it's going to find something with that pattern. And let's be honest, that's pretty blimmin' obscure. So it's gone away. It's found a pattern of these kind of wands, blah, 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 blah. And somewhere, Damascus steel. How flipping amazing is that? So it's a shader set for Damascus steel, 64% similarity. So it would have been nice if it could have detected that that was a knife as well. But the point is that this search doesn't just search by people, it searches by shape, by texture, by color. Really great use of AI. Now, I mentioned that there's a bit that's not quite so good. If I go up here on the find duplicates, it's got 4 different ways of searching for duplicates. And And it's got 4 modes. It can search by file, can search by exactly the same image, it can search by the same scene. I don't really see what the difference is. Oh, right. So the same sheen, money penny. The same scene, in theory, catches the same image but in different poses, but it absolutely does not. This area needs work, to be honest. So let me find Holden. Okay, so we've got Holden here in the root level. So what I did here was I rendered, because it says it catches full size, smaller size, cropped, even different colors and different pose, but it didn't. This still needs some work, but I can't actually find it now. Why is it not found those thumbnails? So it's got all of these. Okay, so if I search by this image Holden, it should find these other 6 images. Let's just see what it does. Find duplicates. Same picture. Catches crops, recolors, or lightly retouched. Searching, searching, searching. So they're all in exactly the same pose. Didn't find any of them. Okay, so let's go back to see everything again. There's this other model. Same scene, so it catches the same person but in different poses. Let's see. Oh, hold on, let me select him first. They're not even in different poses, they're just slightly different colors and sizes. See what it does with that. Same scene, find duplicates, and that works, although it's not, I mean, it's the same exact pose. So the one that supposedly catches cropped images and stuff doesn't, but the one that's the same scene does. So it's kind of still needs a bit of work. Anyway, so my conclusion for this program, the problem with a single person workflow in terms of programming is that you tend to use the program as you expect to use the program, and you don't use it as users might use it. Like somebody like me might have a totally different use case scenario. For example, having thousands of products on another USB drive. For example, having lots of legacy content that doesn't have thumbnails. And so there are many, at the very least we'll call them quirks, but I think, to be honest to you, I would have to call many of them bugs. And Leonardo is very responsive to getting them fixed. In fact, they usually get them fixed within 24 hours. He tends to work late at night. I'll often get an email from him sort of 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. This duplicate thing actually has a use apart from Poser stroke DAZ in just sorting your image library, and I think that's something that he might want to consider actually. The metadata thing, you know, it could be friendlier. Also, the search similarity thing, you should be able to set the similarity threshold. The fact it does it at all, I love. The fact that you can organize your stuff is great, but you need to be able to do your own categories here. So you can, I think when you do your own metadata, you can set up, like add metadata here. I think you can choose your own category here. And a lot of this stuff just doesn't seem to have categories. So that's kind of a bit of a problem. So I guess you might hope that it will guess at the categories, but if it doesn't guess, then at the very least, it should offer you the choice here to set your own categories to search. So let me just check without metadata there. No metadata, no categories at all. Each of these actually, you ought to be able to set your own search parameters. So would I buy it? Well, I think it's $25.99, which is around about £18. For some reason, the price is not showing. Unbelievably annoying. Auto updates, by the way. So I can't check the price because the site's not working at the moment. I believe it's $25.99. So not super expensive, not a giveaway price, but not bad for what it does. Don't know what else to say. If you've got any questions, post them underneath the review. And thanks so much, Leonardo, for the product. Anybody else has got products they want reviewed? I will be fair, and I will consider anything you want to send. So thanks so much, guys, and I will speak to you again soon.